So that was utter chaos. A crazy game of football. Manchester City drew 3-3 away at St James's Park, and just mental, absolutely mental. Frustrating, of course, in many ways, but this is football, and sometimes this does happen. And you know me on this channel, I don't go in two-footed, I don't go in and overreact. I try and look at the bigger picture and try and take it with a little bit of perspective. And ultimately, I don't think that was a disaster at all. It wasn't. It was frustrating, but it wasn't. And Manchester City ultimately will be okay. It probably will be. Before I dive into this game, I would like to say, check out the link in the description below if you want to win potentially 2 hospitality tickets to what should be a cracking game on the 27th of August, Manchester City versus Crystal Palace via Football Prizes. It's a raffles. You've got paid to enter and all that kind of stuff, but so far there's only been 60 odd entries, so your odds are really good if you want to win a very fancy, very lovely day out at the Etihad. 2 tickets available there, so if you want to win that, head to the link in the description below and enter via that over at Football Prizes. It's all legit, do not worry. I've worked with them absolutely loads, and loads of Blues who watch this channel have actually won because they've sent me their winnings, and it's wonderful stuff. Anyway, let's dive into this game. Link in the description below. So this game for me, where do I start with it? Look, it's very easy to sit there and just moan because we've dropped points. I mean, you have to look at the bigger picture always. For me, this was very much about a team today. You probably wanted a little bit more, and one team was probably a little bit more underprepared. The overall thing for me is that some players played pretty poorly, unfortunately, and I do think some players had a bit of an off day, and I'll get into those individuals in a second. While our overall individual quality is probably what got us the point today away at Newcastle. I do think Newcastle not wanted it more. That's probably not the right thing. Manchester City's players always want it. I think there's a very easy thing to go, oh, they tried harder. I don't think they tried harder. I think they had more testosterone, more energy coursing through the veins. It was away at Newcastle. They had a massive point to prove, and Newcastle played a blinder of a game. Honestly, they were just excellent. They were excellent today, and they played it like a cup final, and that worked for them. City didn't really get going. They had a little bit of sharpness early on, but as soon as the crowd got going behind Newcastle, we couldn't really keep up with them. And so be it. I think this is the first time we saw that early season rustiness, and it is there, unfortunately. The players did look a little bit leggy. They did look a little bit shell-shocked by Newcastle's intensity, and that can happen every now and then. It genuinely can. But you've got to remember, once again, it is only 3 games in. It really is. Now, you've got to remember that Manchester City's physio said in the documentary that it normally takes 7 or 8 weeks to get the players fully up to speed. And days like this can happen when a team essentially is more energetic and more alert and has that quality. You've got people like St. Maximin Day having an absolute blinder. Then you've got the quality of Trippier from that free kick. It's just very difficult. It really is difficult. But the bottom line for me is that from 3 games in, we've taken 7 points. Haaland scored 3 goals. We've had moments of magic, and we've already been away to West Ham and Newcastle. 2 games that I always look for in the calendar and go, they are going to be difficult. And they are difficult, and they were, but we still had a decent little point from this, and we still learned some lessons. And sometimes you got to suffer, man. Sometimes you do have to suffer. Guardiola says this all the time, that sometimes you got to suffer to learn where you've got to improve. And that's what happened today. That happened. It was a fun game. Painful for City fans, I'm sure, but it was a classic game. And Newcastle, you just got to give them credit sometimes, and I think they deserved it. Now, where did it go wrong? I know people like to moan. It went wrong because even though I think the system is probably likely fine, I don't think we really got to grips with the system. Look, the only bugbear I have is people going, oh, City play well, City win, system good. City play bad, City not playing well, system bad, been it forever. And I've seen loads of that on Twitter. Look, come on, it's an oversimplification. It really is. But I do think the system today maybe didn't work fully. We didn't really get to grips with the pace of Newcastle and the directness. That can happen every now and then. But the thing for me is I look for the positives. Did we change it in the second half, and were we the better team? I think in the second half, City deserved the point. So all I can say is they learned the lessons and they got to grips with it. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You know, I think we did get better and we sorted it out. If we can fix the mistakes, so be it. We will make mistakes. It's impossible to go through a 38-game season against teams as hungry as Newcastle and not slip up here and there. It's just gonna happen. But the thing is, I saw it is that we fixed it in the second half. In terms of individuals, I don't think Walker had a nightmare. He had a nightmare. Look, he hasn't lost his pace. Everyone was like, oh, he's lost his pace because Willett just ran past him. he was stumbling. He tried to challenge Willock, and he was stumbling after challenge and never really got his feet going. We saw in the second half his pace was still absolutely there. Everything else, though, he just had an absolute mare. It can happen to even the very best of them. How many times have we seen KDB have an absolute stinker and then be brilliant the next game? Kyle Walker, in my opinion, has absolutely earned our respect and earned our trust over the time that he's allowed a bad day. And he did have a bad day. In fact, not a bad day. He had a terrible day. He's had a terrible day, man. He had a terrible day today. Like, he really did. But it happens. It does happen. As always, you can only ever judge form and quality over a long period of time. If you're still having bad days 2 or 3 months from now, absolutely, then alarm bells will be ringing. But I remember saying the same last season when people were saying that maybe KDB's past it now. They were. Do you remember? Up until about December. And I was saying, come back to me in 6 months. And if KDB's still playing badly, then maybe we've got a problem. And look what happened. He found his form. So basically, 3 games into the season, I don't think there's anything to redo it. St. Maximin had an absolute blinder. City were rattled. Kyle Walker was rattled. And this is what happened, man. This is what happened. Things like this can happen in those moments. And John with the super chat saying El Clasico is the biggest rivalry in England. Oh, look, there was an element of that, you know. There was an element of that in the game that Newcastle had something to prove. They did, and you can sense that. They looked at this game and they went for it to try and make a point, and this could make their season. John, maybe you're not actually wrong. Maybe there was something in that. There's not a rivalry there yet, of course, but maybe it will be eventually. El Clasico, that's going to stick, isn't it? It really is. But back to Walker. Yep, it happened, man. It happened. Genuinely really did. But that's football. It's absolutely football. It can happen every now and then. I don't think Foden had a good game, but people are going, oh, Foden's lost it. Foden's selfish. Foden. Oh, I'm so tired. Have you considered the most likely explanation is possibly the accurate one? Look, I think Foden got it wrong. I think maybe he could have possibly tried it, but I think that one way he didn't square it. I honestly think he had a quick glance at Haaland. I think he thought that if he tried to play it, it would get cut out. Maybe it was the wrong call, but it doesn't mean he's a bad player, man. And maybe he played poorly today, but you've got to bear in mind, he literally did not have a pre-season for Manchester City. People go, oh, he did. No, he trained with some kids, man. He didn't train with Guardiola. He trained with Manchester City's under-23s, not with Pep. So, to me, it's 3 days into the season. He looks a little bit rusty, and he's spent a whole season playing as a false 9. Foden clearly isn't up to scratch right now, but he will come because he's too good as a footballer, and Guardiola will make sure it comes. It is fine. Foden didn't play well, but people, honestly... People, look at someone here in the comments saying he's been dreadful for 1 year. Are you genuinely having a laugh, man? Foden took one for the team last year and played as a striker. He is not a striker. And he did well. He did okay in a position when he was totally unsuited. And he really, genuinely did do pretty good for us. And now, at the moment, it's crazy. Like, Phil Foden cares about this club in the way that, you know what, more than some of you do. He cares about his club more than some of you do. And that's an absolute fact because he's a City fan since he's grown up and he's played there all his life, and it's the only thing he's ever known. So the thing is, I had this idea that Foden, get rid of him, whatever. Come on, man. He had a bad game, sure, but like... Jesus Christ, let's not write off people like that just because they have a poor game. Don't be United fans with Rashford, man. Don't be those people, because those people are childish and unnecessary. The Gand, his fan channel says, next game 5-0, everything's brilliant. Everyone forgets this game ever happened. It's one not perfect game. Exactly, James. Spot on, my friend. That is the fickle nature of football, and that's it. Next game, Foden has a great game, gets an assist, scores, does a dribble, and no one cares. It's as simple as that. And that's football in a nutshell, isn't it? In terms of everyone else, I think we were actually rattled about Ake coming off. Genuinely, Ake's the bad blow there. We never really got to grips with Newcastle after that. Rodri, unfortunately, had a pretty poor game. It can happen. The pace of the game was a little bit too much, in my personal opinion. Genuinely was a little bit too much. And then, to be honest, even like Gundo, even though he was good going forward, still gave the ball away a little bit loosely. You know, Bernardo was okay. KDB, apart from moments of quality, was all right. Cancelo, fine. It was just one of those games where we didn't really get going, and that kind of thing does happen. Louis, there will be no fan view tonight, unfortunately. It is mine and Nico's anniversary, 1 year wedding anniversary, so I didn't want to work too much today. I had to do match reaction, but I didn't want to be streaming for hours on end today, unfortunately. Hence, no watch along. Sorry to those who've been looking for the fan view, but I'll do one tomorrow night if anyone wants one. Absolutely, we'll do one tomorrow night. I'll do one and get on and we'll talk about the game. Remind me, Louis, tweet at me and DM me and make sure I do it, mate. I will do. But basically, for me, is read your super chat, Steve, says Brian. I can't see one, Brian. I can't see yours, mate. Oh, there we go. I missed it. I'm so sorry, Brian. Absolutely, genuinely missed it. Brian said we just started slow and not aggressive. Calm down. Yeah, well, look, yeah, I'm not bothered, mate. I'm absolutely fine, and I'm calm about these things. But yeah, we started slow and not aggressive. It happens. It happens. And Brian, I think you're right, man. We did start a bit slow. In terms of the positives, though, look, let's look at the positives. Does anyone else think Haaland was absolutely excellent? I thought he was brilliant, Haaland. I think people talk about Haaland not having touch and not having composure. Some of the passes that Haaland played, man, generally some of the passes that Haaland played were absolutely excellent. He got his goal. I think his work rate was phenomenal. I think his pace and his strength, the way he barges people off the ball, absolutely with his chest out. I loved it. I was really impressed by his quality, Haaland. He missed one chance. It's going to happen. He missed a chance, but that is not because he wasn't trying. Haaland got onto that pass, pushed the defender out the way, and by the time he got his feet set, Pope was already on top of him. That happens. And there's one way he was stretching, but he was really stretching. He went over the crossbar. But once again, he got to that because he's 6'5", man. he got to that because of who he is, not because it was a bad finish. It's because he's that big. I thought Haaland was excellent, man. Honestly, I thought he was excellent. Really, really good. We saw some moments once again, of magic from KDB. KDB's pass to Bernardo Silva, just sublime. Absolutely sublime. Really, 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 really good. Honestly, just fantastic. But that's, of course, what KDB does. Moments of brilliance. And we do have those moments of quality now where we can flip a game on its head just like that. And I thought Bernardo showed some intelligence out on the right. Didn't have his best game, but I don't think we really got going in the game, if I'm being totally honest. Gundo, obviously, is a nice little bit of movement once again to get him behind the strikers. Gundo's movement is really good. I don't think he had his best overall game, but his movement is excellent. And he does ghost into those kind of essentially second striker role positions really, really good. Gundo is very good at that. He's a natural finisher. And once again, he got another goal. In terms of an issue that a lot of people are talking about, and Yolson with the super chat here said, what's with Pep and his lack of subs? That's always annoyed him. In general, he doesn't use many subs. Mahrez and Alves could have changed the game, in my opinion. Look, to be honest, you're probably right, but I'm going to sit there, honestly, and I'm not saying this to excuse it because I would say it and I've moaned about Pep subs a few times. Watching that game in my head, I wasn't screaming out for a change. I just genuinely wasn't. I was screaming out for composure. Gallowgate Shots is in the chat, by the way. I told you at the start of the video, I said that Newcastle were excellent. I know you've just joined, but as everyone will tell me in the comments, everyone let Gallowgate Shots know in the comments. Did I not say Newcastle were excellent? I genuinely did. I thought they were brilliant. But I'm looking at City. Obviously, the City angle of it. I'm not going to do a video, mate, about Newcastle because this is about City on this channel, mate. But I thought Newcastle were excellent. But yeah, back to the subs thing. I wasn't really crying out for subs because it felt like what Guardiola does, basically. And you don't have to like it. If City don't play well, what Guardiola does, he often says to the players, you got us into this mess, you get us out of it. He often does that. You don't have to like it, and I respect that, but that's what Guardiola often does. It's one of his things where what he does. And once again, we did score 2 goals, and we did get back into the game. And sometimes that can happen. You know, where he just decides to see if he's going to let the players kind of fix it out. And maybe we could have won as well. I think looking at it, would I have brought Alves away on at Newcastle, away from home? Maybe, but maybe not. You know, like, I understand why Guardiola wants maybe the experience of Bernardo out on the right. Foden maybe could have come off, but once again, Foden understands the Premier League. Mahrez potentially, but Bernardo's work rate is while he's on there, and likewise with Foden. I'm looking around at the team. Look, I'm sure Grealish would have come on if he was available. I just think it's one of those things where I feel like he thought the game was too chaotic to change anything because it might have invited a little bit of chaos. I get the frustration about substitutes, but at the same time, I sort of understand it in this instance. Like, Guardiola doesn't presume substitutes change a game always. Sometimes he thinks that momentum and consistency is a thing. Look, it's just Guardiola, man. Like, it's just how it is, but sometimes it can be that way. It can be that way. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe some should have come on. But I don't think Guardiola's got to the point yet where he trusts Alvarez. I don't think he does yet, and that's understandable. He's new to it, and us as fans, we're just like, throw him on. Throw him on, and I think it's that. Someone was just saying in the chat, is Foden feeling insecure about Haaland? No, of course he's not, man. Of course he's not feeling insecure. I think Foden's just not playing very well. I think Foden is just trying to find his way back into the team as a left winger, and I think Foden's had a slow start to the season. It happens, man. It happens. Like, I think sometimes players just don't play particularly well at the start of the season, and that can be a thing, and I think that's where we're at with Foden right now. Look, ultimately, I don't think City are firing fully at their best yet, but I do think the quality that Manchester City showed to get back into the game, and the reaction, and the fact that we got a point, it's a decent result in the end, man. It is. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it genuinely is. Newcastle away, many teams are going to struggle there. Someone just said, if Newcastle could do that to us, what could a top 6 team do? Well, there's a presumption that Newcastle aren't going to be around top 6 for one. They might do, if they play like that, they will be. But that's a very reductive way of looking at it. Like, how many times have Palace done that to us, and then we still beaten Chelsea away, Liverpool away, or United away, or whatever? We know that that's not as simple as that. Like, smaller teams with something to prove, with all due respect to Newcastle, and I mean smaller in terms of current success. Teams that aren't successful, often do step up and have a game like that, and that's how it is. Harris with a super chat saying we'll definitely take that result, bring on Fulham. Yeah, well, Fulham is the one where we can do that every now and then. Fulham could be a game where we set it, and we could be looking after, 10 points from 4 games, and everyone will be happy with that. And thankfully as well, look, with Liverpool dropping points, maybe we've got a bit of a barrier there. But Harris, yeah, I agree. Bring on Fulham. It was a lesson learned. And also, let's go back to last season. Let's go look at Manchester City starts. I'm going to try Man City results. I'm going to try and find the fixtures and the results of Man City in the previous season. Let me have a look at the start of the season. And let's see if I can find it. Man City results. I'm going to bring them up on screen and see how they compare. I swear we don't always start well. I swear we don't. I can't prove it, but we tend to have a relatively slow start to the season. So here we go. Let's go back to the last 2 seasons. Last few seasons. I'll jump over to here now. Let's see if this will bring it up. Football prizes, by the way. Check it out in the link in the description. If you want to win 2 hospitality tickets against Leicester, you can enter right now. There's a link in the description. Go for it if you want to. So let's jump over to here. Where has it gone? 1 second. Here we go. So this is from 2021. Okay, so we started the season well, 3-1 there. Then we lost to Leicester. It was a big result there, loss. We dropped points to Leeds as well. These are games that were seen as really big. Let me jump over to the other season. So there's already a few disappointing results there, spanked by Leicester. By the way, this team, that team would have lost this game today, and we all know that's true. Let's look at last season. This doesn't really show, unfortunately. It doesn't show the Community Shield game, but we lost to Spurs at the start of the season. I know that was 2 very good results there, but we've already had a better start in the first 3 games again. So once again, I guess the point I'm making is, like, it's normal to have the odd iffy result here and there. Let me see if I can find the results as well for, the season before that, and see how we played. It's very, very normal when you're Manchester City, when your style is so. Here we go. Here we go. So here's another season. So let's have a look. Where does the season start there? It started with West Ham. Did we win 5-0 away from the first day of the season? Well, we really did, didn't we? Bloody hell. And then Spurs, we dropped points, and then Bournemouth, we win. So we're matching another season. Essentially, I've gone back a few seasons now, and we've not had a better start than this. So literally, it's normal, essentially. Look at Chelsea. Exactly, Alex raised the point there. Look at Chelsea. I'm not just trying to be a happy clapper. I promise you. I'm trying to say, these games can happen. It's at the start of the season when you're trying to iron out all the cracks and all this kind of stuff, iron out all the creases, and paper over the cracks and whatever. You're trying to work out how things are going, man. You need to work out how where you can improve and all this kind of stuff. It's just football and it's part of it. Guys, by the way, please do hit the like button if you don't mind. Let's get the likes up on this video. I want to talk about Haaland once again. Look, I think he's the positive for me today. I thought Haaland was excellent. I thought he was brilliant. Like, his drive, his determination, his work rate was really, really good, and a key part of Manchester City today. Honestly, really, really impressive. I'm dead happy with him. Like, I think he's shown once again that he's not going to flop. He isn't. He's more involved. People said he didn't have a touch. Where's it gone? Where's this idea that he hasn't got a touch and he hasn't got link-up play? Some of the passes today that Haaland played were genuinely like De Bruyne-esque, man. His runs are fantastic. The way he bulldozes past people, the way he holds people up and knows how to link the ball. Honestly, I thought he was absolutely excellent. Yeah, as Ants Leicester fan channel pointed out, Pope was phenomenal. Yeah, and Pope was probably the reason Haaland didn't get a brace today. He was absolutely brilliant. But honestly, Haaland absolutely already shown that it's going to be worth every single penny. 3 goals already in 3 games. He's got that 1 goal a game thing going already. That is Haaland. He probably could have an assist as well. 1 beautiful through ball to Kevin De Bruyne. Look, to me, brilliant. He's utter chaos. He's an absolute rampaging machine. And I love it. I love it. He gives you hope. Where there is a Haaland and a Kevin De Bruyne, there is a way. We have got absolute world-class players who can... Yeah, when he hit the post as well, that moment of brilliance where he bounced off one defender and with his right foot nonetheless and killed it around. Just a beast, man. Just a beast. He is already world class. He's going to be get even better and better and better. He's not even reached his final form yet. Frightening stuff. But to me, once again, we need to remember that a game of football is not 45 minutes. A season isn't 90 minutes. And a season certainly isn't the first 3 games of the season either. You don't judge a game after 45 minutes. There's a lot of people losing their heads very early on because it can happen. You can start badly. But again, once again, football is chess and it is momentum and it is chaos. It's all about people, and people can have good days and bad days, and sometimes if one of your best players has a bad day and one of their best players is playing directly of them, has one of the games of the career, see Walker, say St. Maximum, things like that can happen. And unfortunately, it can be very, very, very difficult. And it can be, but this is it. How could you have mixed feelings concerning Haaland, Queen V? I just don't get it. I don't get how people can watch Haaland today and say they got mixed feelings. I thought he was just genuinely excellent. I thought he was powerful. I thought he was drive, his passes, his link-up play, his energy, man. I thought he was brilliant. I just don't get it. I thought he was fantastic. As Manque said, he was proper. He really was. I think he was a complete centre-forward as displayed today. He's dropping deep, his work rate, his movement. Look, I think people thought Haaland was going to score every single chance. No, he's going to miss chances. Of course he is. But once again, he shows that he's such a threat that he creates space for those around him. And once again, his footwork, his strength, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But this guy is brilliant. He's going to score so many goals for us, and he's so young and he's learning, and I think he's getting better and better and better. But we shouldn't panic. It's going to be a very interesting season, but this is very, very early on in what is going to be a marathon. Liverpool haven't started well. Chelsea haven't started well. United are a shambles. Arsenal have been surprisingly excellent. Looking at the Premier League table right now, I'll bring it up on screen. 1 second. Premier League table. Here we go. Let's look at this Premier League table. Here we go. I'll resize it so it fits on for you all. 1 second so you can see it. There we go. We've got Leeds up there, in second. Arsenal having a great start, We've got City, of course, in second as well. Arsenal had a great start to season, fair play to them. Maybe they are a real deal, but let's see how they cope, when things don't go too well. Spurs having a decent start. But then you've got other good clubs. Chelsea down in 12th. It won't stay that way. Liverpool in 15th. United bottom. Hopefully it stays down there. Or the 19th. West Ham down in 20th. Look, it's too early. What usually happens is it starts chaos and then you shake it up and eventually everything falls back into line. And I guarantee you Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, City, they'll all be up there and everyone else will fall down to pack. That's just how football works and we all know it's true. So right now I think City have had a good start. The Irish NPC with a super chat saying Haaland is mint, but Foden needs to pass to him. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think Foden does. I can't prove it, but Foden the other day absolutely should have passed to him. I swear, my instinct, it's my instinct. I'm not defending for the sake of it. I tell you what, if I thought he should have passed it and I thought he could have made the pass, I absolutely would say it. I promise you. I'm honest, maybe to a fault on this channel. I'm honest in my honesty. But I do think he looked up and thought if he tried to play it back, the defender foot would have got to it. Look, how can I explain it? Foden, it's hard because it's mirrored. Foden shot that way. And if he tries to pass that way, I think he thought the defender's foot would have been there. But obviously, you can shoot past there, but you can't pass it back past there. Imagine that's the defender's foot. I think Foden thought that if he goes across the goal, that's fine. But if he goes back to Haaland, he'll hit the defender's foot. I think he thought that. I genuinely think he thought that. I can't prove it, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm sure Guardiola will look at it and he'll talk to him. But I don't think Foden was being selfish for the sake of it. If I'm wrong, so be it. But this is how I feel like it should be. Hell Cheese, you are banned. See you later, pal. Because you just... you're gone. Get rid of Grealish now. What the hell for, man? What's he done wrong today? Look, if you're gonna jump on with just an agenda, you're gonna get muted. And you got an agenda, so you'll be muted. I agrees with me like that. The defender would have reached it. That's what I think. I genuinely think he would have, and he scored last season as well from that angle. Foden did. I mean, look, it's funny because no one's telling you should have packed. Like, I don't know. I think we're being emotional. And ultimately, I do think Foden has his Manchester City's best interests at heart. Of course he does, man. He's literally a fan. He's literally a fan. So. This idea that he's playing for himself, I don't know. I think he's a little bit rusty because he spent a season not playing as a winger. He hasn't really had a pre-season, but he'll find his best form because he's too good not to. It is what it is. But overall, that's not the great day. This is an interesting point. Marcus Ninja talked about Trippier. Now that was a really interesting one. Right, my head's gone back and forth on this loads of times, and I think that's probably all right as well. I think it's probably fair to say I don't know fully where I feel about it. I think it could be a red card, but I understand people who probably think it isn't. It's weird because my initial reaction was it was cynical, it was aggressive, and he's hacked him down. It's a red card. But then I saw it and thought, do you know what? He kind of didn't do it a lot of force. He just put his foot across him, hit him with the side of his foot, not with the studs. So is it like not dangerous? But then Carragher tweeted, and I actually thought about this. Carragher tweeted, can you really just kick someone at knee height when they're counter-attacking at pace and get away with it? It's like an orange card. Yeah, it's mad. It's one of those ones where you wish there was a sin bin. You know what I mean? I'm not advocating sin bins because I think it's nonsense. But it's one of those ones where it's so annoyingly cynical that you kind of like... It's like... Put it this way. Here's a question for everyone in the chat. Is it more dangerous than a yellow card where you pull someone back when they're running away? Is it? I would say absolutely categorically. That's a yellow card too. To me, it's loads worse than that. But it's weird that it's the same outcome. That's the thing for me. It's so strange, man. It's really weird. It's like, it's so cynically tactical. And I'm aware, by the way, people looking at this, Fernandinho does it all the time too. So maybe I'm being a hypocrite here. But at the same time, if it has to be that you can't do that, it's so annoying because it could have injured De Bruyne. It really could have because it kicked him on the knee essentially. And when he's sprinting at 20 miles an hour, which he is, it's just... I don't think it was worth them telling him to look at it again for what it's worth. That's one thing I would say. I feel like he probably... I don't know. It's a really weird one. Like Carragher tweeted... Let me find the tweet actually because I think he's possibly got a point. Carragher tweeted this, and I think he might have a point. He said this, that Trippier tackle is going to be a red in the future. It's not a leg breaker, but why should a player be able to take someone out at knee height with no intention of winning the ball? I think he might have a point, man. Like, it's really hard. I just don't know the answer. Do you know what I think the answer should be? Let's see what footballers think. Because I guarantee you, De Bruyne was absolutely furious. And that's the kind of thing that could put someone out for months and months and months. So we'll have to see. But I think my final conclusion would be that we didn't play particularly well. Newcastle were excellent. They were, but we showed some good spirit and work rate to get us through it. And I guarantee you one thing, games like today will absolutely benefit Man City. They will do. They benefit us because they make you refocus and get going again. And you learn from games like today more than you do a comfortable victory. So I think overall, not bad, and we will see. Right, guys, thanks very much for watching this. I'm going to go wind down. It is my anniversary after all. 1 year married. I got married. Someone married me. Nicola married me. I'm going to go and chill with my wife and get some food because I'm starving. Thanks for watching this video. Go and check out the competition with football prizes in the link in the description. Like and all that usual stuff. And we'll catch you all very, very soon for another video. The Fan View Live will be tomorrow. I'll catch you all tomorrow. In a bit, guys. You're all wonderful. Up the Blues. We'll be fine. Bye-bye.